Good morning, students. Today I am going to continue chapter number 3, Nazism and the Rise of Hitler from History. And today's topics are birth of Weimar Republic and the effect of the war. So students, in my previous explanation, as I told you about the rise of Hitler and his Nazi party, and I told you many things about the followers of the Nazism or Hitler, in which after the fall of Nazism or Hitler government, many followers and the leaders of the Nazis or followers of Hitler committed suicide. Alright, students. So students, in this series today I will explain about the birth of Weimar Republic. So students, as you know very well that Germany was a powerful empire in the early years of the 20th century, and Germany fought the First World War from 1914 to 1918 against the Austrian Empire and against the Allied powers like England, France and Russia. But students, eventually Europe drained all its resources and Germany made initial gains by occupying France and Belgium. However, the Allies, strengthened by US entry in 1917 and won, defeating Germany and the Central Powers in November 1918. So students, the defeat of Imperial Germany and the failure to fulfill a responsibility or duty or abdication of the emperor gave an opportunity to parliament parties to recast German polity. That's why a National Assembly met at Weimar and established a democratic constitution with a federal structure. And student, here is the meaning of federal structure is having or relating to a system of government in which several states form a unity but remain independent in internal affairs. Alright? And also deputies were elected to German parliament on the basis of equal and universal votes by all adults, including women also. Alright? But students, the republic was not received by very well by its own people at a very large scale because of the terms it was forced to accept after Germany's defeat at the end of the First World War. Okay? So students, the peace treaty at Versailles with the Allies was a harsh and humiliating peace. Germany lost its colonies and near about 1/10 of population and 13% territories and 7.5% iron and 26% of coal to France, Poland, Denmark, and Lithuania. Okay? And students, the Allied powers remove all military forces from an area. Germany too weakened its power. Alright? And the war guilt clause held. And students, here the meaning of war guilt clause is related to the Article 231 of the Treaty of Versailles and known as the war guilt clause. That was a statement that Germany was responsible for beginning World War I, and the war guilt clause was added in order to get the French and Belgians to agree to reduce the sum of money that Germany would have to pay to compensate for a war damage. Alright? It means Germany would have to pay to compensation for war damage. Alright? Whatever the Allied countries suffer. And Germany was also forced to pay compensation amounting to 6 billion. And the Allied armies also occupied the resource-rich Rhineland for much of the 1920s. And many Germans held the new Weimar Republic responsible for not only the defeat in the war but the disgrace at Versailles. After that, your next point is the effect of the war. So students, as you know very well that every kind of war related to every part of the world had and has a devastating impact on the entire country and even continent, both psychologically and financially. Alright? And students, due to the First World War, the entire continent of the world affected by the war. So students, as a result, Europe turned into one of a big debtors. Alright? And students, as I told you above that, the war affected the entire continent, both psychologically and financially. So students, infant or newborn Weimar Republic was forced to pay compensation. And those who supported them, mainly socialists, Catholics and Democrats, become easy target of attack in the conservative nationalist circles called the November criminals. Alright? And students, the mindset had a major impact on the political development of the early 1930s, as we will soon see. So students, as I told you, the First World War left a very deep impact on European society and on the political atmosphere and activity also. That's why soldiers came to be placed above civilians, and politicians and published laid great stress on the need for men to be aggressive, strong and masculine. That's why the media glorified the life of the soldiers, but the truth which were related to the soldiers' life, miserable lives in these trenches, trad with rats feeding on corpses. And student, even soldiers faced poisonous gas and enemy shelling, and also they all were witnessed their ranks reduce rapidly. So students, whatever war propaganda and national honor occupied center stage in the public sphere, while popular support grew for conservative dictatorship that had recently come into being. And students, that time democracy was a young and fragile idea which could not survive the instabilities of interwar Europe. It means students, that time the people of Europe also wanted a kind of dictator type of government, and the idea of freedom, liberty, and also democracy were very new and fragile for them. It means all the ideas related to democracy were the very less important among them. Alright student. So student, please try to understand these two topics related to the birth of Weimar Republic and the effect of the war. And students, if you have any confusion or problem, please contact to me. Alright. Thank you and have a nice day.